Well, Metroid Dread has finally made its way onto Nintendo Switch after a surprise announcement earlier this year in 2021. So this has been put together by Mercury Steam on behalf of Nintendo, following on from the remake of the Gameboy's Metroid 2 back in 2017, and that one was Samus Returns. So the last 2D Metroid we had before the remakes was Metroid Fusion back in 2003, so it's definitely a welcome sight to see Samus arriving onto Nintendo Switch in Metroid Dread, and I'm really happy to say that the game lives up to the hype. The focus for Nintendo fans in recent years has been Metroid Prime, whether they're asking about Metroid Prime 4 or asking about the long rumored Metroid Prime trilogy rumoured for the Nintendo Switch. So a new 2D Metroid wasn't really on the cards, although there had been talk of Metroid Dread since about 2007, though that talk had been dampened into quiet whispers in recent years. So then, Nintendo comes along at E3 2021 and drops the major announcement that a new 2D Metroid would in fact be coming to Nintendo Switch. Not only that, but it'd be coming in a few months, launching on October the 8th, alongside the new OLED Nintendo Switch. Well, Metroid Dread launched against the backdrop of multiple good Metroidvanias out there in the market, including Hollow Knight, Dead Cells and Axiom Verge. So after playing through Metroid Dread, I'm partially relieved and also overjoyed to say it can live up there with the best of them, and it instantly jumps into my personal top 5 games of 2021. Well, Metroid Dread is the direct sequel to Metroid Fusion and the 5th Metroid game as part of the 2D series, and this is Nintendo at their very, very best, adding a AAA gloss onto a tried and tested Metroid formula, and it all adds up to a really, really enjoyable game. So it's a 2D game, but there are 3D cutscenes, and Samus looks and acts just so damn cool, it's hard not to be impressed at every turn. You've got the detail of the environment, Samus's animations, the movement speed and variety of weapons, abilities and enemies to battle, plus the hard as nails bosses, which feels very un-Nintendo at times. The setting for the game is planet ZDR, and Samus has been sent to the planet to investigate the return of a familiar species in the X-Parasite. However, it quickly transpires she's been led into a trap, and Samus is trapped way below the surface, and your objective is to make your way back to your ship. Well, the environments range from labs, industrial factories, ridden with killer robots. You've got your lava levels, ice levels, all filled with an abundance of atmosphere. Now, this may be the direct sequel to Metroid Fusion, but it's channeling Super Metroid in all the best ways possible. Now, given Samus has been stripped of her abilities, you have to gather these back on your journey to the surface, and the tools at Samus's disposal include the cloaking device, various upgrades to her hand cannon, the grappling hook, the morph ball, complete with bombs as well, plus you've got various suits to help you through hot and cold environments. So all the classic Metroid abilities are here. One criticism of Metroid Dread could be that all the abilities are well known, but when they're executed this well, in this quality package, then it is really hard to complain. So in terms of look and feel, atmosphere, movement speed, this has all the ingredients to go down as one of the all-time great Metroid hits. So one of the biggest features of the game are the EMI robots. So these are droids that were sent to planet ZDR to initially scout out on a rescue mission, although somewhere along the line they've been reprogrammed as hostile to Samus by someone or something. So these EMI robots definitely don't mess about. If they catch you, they are very, very likely to kill you. So there's a small window of opportunity to smack them in the face and run away, but much like a person fighting a great white shark, there's about a 99% probability of death. Well, EMIs, they're sectioned off into their own zones on the map, and there's 7 of them dotted throughout the game, and each one gets harder and harder as you progress. So the only way to kill an EMI is to blast it in the face with the Omega Cannon, a power that you receive from defeating a mini-boss. So first of all, you have to melt off the outer plating, then once that's gone, it's a quick blast to the face, and then they are dead. So this is much easier said than done, and some of them are particularly difficult. So saying that, these are some of my favourite encounters in Metroid Dread, especially when you use the cloaking device. So the EMIs, they come really close like a stalking killer predator, and you have to hold your breath and wait it out, hoping your cloaking device doesn't fail you at the last moment. Well, your journey through the map and the zones is punctuated by encounters with the EMIs, but you do get to be teleporting back and forth from different zones on a regular basis. And the Metroid Dread level design is very clever, and you always nudge forward in the right direction. You got this feeling of a vast wide open space to explore, but you may be locked off by a small wall or another blocking element, which can only be opened up by another ability, and Dread does a great job of directing you without being too obvious about it. Really, it's masterful design. Samus appears to have a newfound attitude in this game, and she's never been more on form than here in Metroid Dread. So the slightly cocky move of the head when something is flying towards her face, or the swagger in which she navigates the levels. So there's a sense that Samus has seen all this action before, and she's going through the motions with confidence and skill, rather than the previous outing in Other M, where her fear showed rather a little bit too much. So there's moments here when the camera pan zooms close to her face, revealing widening eyes, but otherwise Samus seems to take everything in her stride. She's cool, she's calm, and she's very, very collected. Samus's movement speed is something to behold in this game, and perhaps takes inspiration from other games in the genre like Ori and Hollow Knight, which are great examples of fast and fluid movement. So that's where legacy Metroid games fall down a little bit compared to the speed of today's games, but here in Dread, Samus almost glides across the screen with absolute pure speed. She's got a very satisfying slide move which you're going to need to get the hang of to get away from the Emmys. Well, there has been a bunch of criticism that Metroid Dread has been too hard, but personally I quite like the challenge. It felt not very Nintendo-like to produce a game like this, plus other games in the Metroidvania space, they are just as tough, if not even harder. So the Emmys add an extra edge to the gameplay, one that sends your pulse racing on numerous occasions. Well, overall, Metroid Dread has delivered on the promise of what a 2D Metroid could be on Nintendo Switch. This is by far the best outing for Samus in 20 years, and in my book comes close to what Nintendo had achieved with Super Metroid. I thoroughly enjoyed my playthrough, but for it to be an all-time classic, it does require another couple of times through the game. For now though, this is a hugely satisfying gaming experience, with Nintendo taking inspiration from the Metroidvania market and then going above and beyond. My expectations have been met and then exceeded, and if you've got a Nintendo Switch, then you should definitely be playing this game. Well, the developer was Nintendo and Mercury Steam. It was published by Nintendo, and it's available on the Nintendo Switch, originally released on the 8th of October 2021. Well, that is it for my review of Metroid Dread. Absolutely fantastic game, and I reckon it's up there in my top 5 games of the year of 2021. We'll wait and see what happens at the end of the year. But Metroid Dread, absolutely fantastic. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you want to join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.